Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into sources about really a unique personal journey, a trek to a sacred lake high up in Nepal. And our mission really is to understand why these kinds of trips, into remote nature, seem to offer such deep peace, a chance to reconnect. So let's unpack this. We're diving into an account of a trek that, well, it sounds like it promises a lot more than just amazing scenery. The story kicks off from Dunche. It's a small town, maybe a 7-hour bus ride from Kathmandu. Sources call the road winding and rough. Sounds like an adventure right from the start, but with breathtaking views of green hills and river valleys. Then from Dunche, the actual trek starts, on foot, just light backpacks and an eager sense of adventure.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it, how that initial bus journey itself kind of starts the immersion. It's not your usual commute or city travel. The landscape immediately grabs your attention, maybe, sets the tone.
I can see that. It sort of forces you to be present from the get-go. And as the climb gets higher over the next few days, how does that changing landscape mirror or maybe amplify the inner journey?
Well, the scenery changes quite dramatically, actually. You go from these lush forests filled with rhododendron and pine trees to much more rugged, rocky terrain. As you gain altitude, it gets tougher.
Right.
And it's not just the nature. They pass through small villages like Singompa and Lorabina. And there they interact with the local Tamang people. The source mentions they're known for their culture and hospitality. Plus, trying local food, simple but delicious, like dal bhat, that's a lentil and rice staple, and Tibetan bread. So these encounters, the cultural ones, the natural ones, they really deepen the experience. It's more than just walking.
Absolutely. It sounds like all these layers build up towards the main destination, Gosai Kunda Lake. The source talks about a peaceful, almost mystical energy there and its spiritual importance. What makes the lake itself so special?
Well, reaching it is a major achievement. It's high up, around 4,380 meters. The description is just stunning. Crystal clear water surrounded by snow-capped peaks. And yeah, it has huge spiritual significance for both Hindus and Buddhists. They believe the waters have divine power. People make pilgrimages, especially during the Janai Purnima festival. You can imagine the atmosphere.
Definitely sounds powerful.
And the source mentions three key reasons the whole trip was so memorable. First, it really challenged me physically. The steep climbs, the thin air, pushing limits.
Sure. That high altitude is no joke.
Second, and this is crucial, it was a rare chance to disconnect from technology and reconnect with nature and myself. Just being away from the constant digital noise. It allows for real presence.
That digital detox effect.
Exactly. And finally, it just fostered a much deeper appreciation for Nepal's incredible geography and its culture, too.
It really is incredible how much clarity can come when you're pushed physically and, properly unplugged. That pull towards disconnecting, towards reconnecting. It feels like a universal thing these remote places offer. What natural space is calling to you for that kind of reset?
Well, if we look at the bigger picture, the sources suggest why people are increasingly drawn to these kinds of places. They seem to offer a kind of peace and authenticity that cities often lack.
Right.
Life in the city can be so fast-paced, so full of distractions. These natural spots let you slow down, breathe fresh air, really connect with yourself and the environment. It feels like a fundamental need.
Yeah, escaping the noise is a big part of it. And our sources also mention wanting a break from routine, right? Seeking a sense of adventure, whether that's hiking, camping, or maybe learning about traditional ways of life. Plus, after recent years, there's that bigger focus on health and well-being. So nature-based travel becomes a way to relax mentally and physically.
That's a great point. And interestingly, what about social media's role in this? You see these beautiful photos of places like Gosekunda or Rara Lake, and it inspires people, doesn't it, to seek out these lesser-known but stunning destinations.
It definitely does. That visual inspiration is powerful.
But it also means, as the sources hint, we need to be really mindful. With more interest comes more responsibility to protect these fragile places.
A very important consideration. So this deep dive into the Gosai Kunda trek, it really highlights some key things, doesn't it? The impact of physical challenge, the power of truly disconnecting, the richness of cultural immersion, and that deep, maybe universal human need for the kind of peace you find in nature. Which leads to a final thought, really, for you listening. Where is that natural space calling you? Where might you find your own sense of peace and authenticity away from all the everyday noise?